St. Joe.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, we're back at it again. And guess what? This week, I've got it. My man Mike is back from his journeys across the lands. I'm glad he's back. But I did have fun recording a little dual episode last week. And it's funny because nobody except Mike even realized that I didn't release that episode with Beebs and Keb onto when I released the audio episode. Nobody said a word except
No, nobody said anything about it being a rerun.
nobody said anything. So now I know everybody that listens to it or downloads it, it's either on auto, it's in their queue, they don't really listen to it or what, because let me tell you something, folks. They're not matching up. They're not matching up.
Yeah, it kind of makes me curious because it literally was just a rerun of the week before, and n- nobody seemed to notice.
I'll be honest, I didn't go and look at our Google messages this week. I mean, somebody could have, but I didn't go back and look at them. Um, I just didn't. I don't know why. Obviously, it is Friday if you're listening to this audio, and it's Monday night if you're listening to us or watching us on the YouTube. Are we live, Mike? I didn't even look.
We live.
We live. We're live and in charge. Um, I don't even know. Hopefully, somebody will come tune in and watch us. I know the Keb and the soon-to-be world famous wife usually do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Um, where's my mouse at? I can't see the mouse on my secondary screen. No. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so Mike, where did you go? I think I said Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, somewhere.
Yeah, so I like road trips better than I like flying for the most part, but this
You
did
like
turn out to
Roadhead?
be a little bit longer than I anticipated. So we went to North Dakota, which from Fort Worth, Texas is about a 20-hour drive. So we stayed in Norfolk, Nebraska on the way at a fun little
Norfolk.
hotel that had a pool and a putt putt and a beach volleyball, that kind of stuff. So it was a nice break on our way up there, and then we went up to Bottineau, North Dakota, which is right on the Canadian border. Um,
Botano. What's the population of Botano?
I didn't see a sign, but I would guess, I don't know, 300 maybe. It's pretty dang small.
Wow.
But we rented a lake house on Lake Metagoshi,
How do you
which
spell Botano?
Bottineau. Must be French ish.
That is French.
And so we got a really beautiful lake house. My whole family came out, my parents, my brother's family, my sister's family. And so there was 15 of us staying there. And then we did a
How many
blessing.
bathrooms?
There was one, three bathrooms.
Is that enough for 15 people? I mean, that's five to a shitter.
It was fine. We were only
What
there
was
for
it like in
3
the
days.
morning? Yeah, but in the mornings, I mean, mad dashes for the toilets. Did
Uh,
anybody
every,
poop or pee outside? Was there like a line of kids pissing out the porch?
no, everybody was waking up at different times. You know, my kids are younger. My nephews are like mid-teens, like 15, 16, and then my nieces are like 13, 14. So everybody's waking up at different times. So the bathroom
Oh,
situation was fine. I could see it.
okay.
That's like the focus of the vacation, but it really wasn't, unfortunately. So we
Um,
we stayed up there for 3 days, and then decided to head more west on the way back and go to Mount Rushmore, which I had never been, so that was pretty cool. And then just stayed there for one day, and then drove all the way back, and that took another 2 days to get back.
and how do you say that? Botano?
Botano, yeah.
So Botano is a city in Botano County. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, it's the county seat. It's the big deal. The city's population in the 2020 census was 2,194 people.
Oh, that's bigger than I thought. Well, I guess that makes sense because there is like a Walmart.
Wow. Like a super Walmart or a regular Walmart?
No, I don't think it's. Well, I think there's a grocery. I think that's like their main grocery store, so it's probably a super Walmart.
All right.
But how it's
It's
been explained to me is, because that's where Amber's family is from, and so that's where her parents and stuff, and she grew up and her brother. So there's like two towns kind of close to each other. There's Bottineau and Dunseith, and one's like the white town, and then one's like the Indian town, and they try not to mingle up too much. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic up there.
So tell me about this giant alien turtle thing in the park. What the hell is that?
That oh, I wish I remembered his name. Tommy Turtle is it's like their
Tommy
little
the turtle?
yeah, it's their little mascot because it's right next to the Turtle Mountains, which to the blind eye looks a lot like big hills. But once you get on top and into them, they're very pretty. But I still wouldn't hardly call them mountains.
Yeah, they're not mountains.
They're not.
No. Not at all. So I wanted to touch on something,
Mm.
not someone.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not St. Joe.
I'm not a little boy.
Excuse me while I spit my spittoon. It's a solo cup. Anyway, so our buddy St. Joe has a podcast. We talk about it every week.
Yeah.
We talk about it. Nailed it with St. Joe. We've talked about everything from his love of lists to how it's a lot of 80s based stuff. This week, not solely 80s based. It was about cult movies, which is pretty cool, even though most of those movies were kind of 80s movies, I think.
I think most of them were 80s, yeah.
And some of those movies I really like. A cult movie that I really love that nobody talks about is Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And maybe because of the director, Quentin Tarantino, they don't consider it a cult movie anymore, but I know at one point in time they did. Which actually, when he asked about it on his Twitter, he asked a question. Of course, I interacted and put on there Reservoir Dogs. But I didn't even get a mention, not even an honorable mention.
An age
But
out.
I did notice that he said that, people don't interact enough with his pod. And I think that it may have to do with, I think you have to find a way to like engage somebody right off the bat, as far as not like with your podcast or your show, but if you want to ask a question or you want to get some response to it, I think you got to hit people right off the bat, because yes, I listened to the whole episode. I listened to every minute of the podcast that I listen to. I listen to them front to back, whether I speed them up or not, which I do. I speed up everybody's podcast now, just because
it helps you listen to more.
Yep. And I actually get through them a little bit faster, and I enjoy it. But sometimes it makes people sound funny, but I like that too.
I try to keep the cartoon voicey, like keep it just below that threshold.
Mama D and 1.25 is pretty good. Keb sometimes with the stupid history minute, it's a little too fast.
Well, the problem is it actually makes it a minute.
Some of them are a minute, some of them are longer. Also, gotta send a shout out. He's gonna have a book coming out, the Stupid History book, part 1.
Part uno.
Which means I guess there's gonna be a part 2.
There's got to be. There's so much history.
There's endless history, and there's endless stupid history. I mean, also got to send love and blessings to one of our favorite sponsors of our show.
Yeah, just the tip of this pee is sponsored by.
Always sponsored by Beebs and the Finding Your Way podcast, the good people over at Finding Your Way. And for that, each and every week, I wanted to send a little love to our friend the Beebs and the Finding Your Way podcast fans that might tune into this show. So I wrote a little something just for the Beebs. And this was about forgiving others in a biblical sense. And I mean, it's tough to talk about that. It's tough to forgive people sometimes. So, St. Joe, I want you to forgive the people that have not interacted with your podcast. And, just remember that. Because, as far as, here comes the cat, which is fine. I love it when we get guests that join in. Hello, Mr. The Keb. Welcome to the show. This is an unexpected treat. We appreciate you. I was talking about, I wanted to give a little shout out to St. Joe and let him know that, people do care about his show and interact. And I wanted him to forgive the listeners of his that are not interacting. I mean, because in Matthew 6:14 and 15, the scripture reads, "For if you forgive others and you forgive other people, they will sin against you. Your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do
Praise
not
God.
forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins." And I think that's a big deal. I mean, forgiveness to others, that's a big thing. I mean, you got to live out in our faith. We got to actively practice forgiveness. And it may be challenging, especially when the wounds are deep, but forgiveness is not a feeling, it's a choice. And we must pray for those who have hurt us. And asking God to soften our hearts and grant us the strength to forgive by extending forgiveness, we reflect the love and grace of our Heavenly Father in a very broken world. And that's why I think it's important to find your way. And it's important to get a blessing from St. Joe. And I hope I always get one. So St. Joe, keep doing it. Keep going. Don't quit. Forgive those that have trespassed against you. It'll be okay. Mr. The Kev, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you?
We're good. We're glad that you're here.
For-
This was totally unexpected.
Forgive me for hijacking your podcast here, but
Forgiveness has been granted.
I'm actually glad. I wasn't sure how I was going to follow up what Jay was doing there, so I'm glad you
Right.
joined in.
right. Well, I was watching on YouTube and I heard you guys mention Stupid History Minute, and over here at Unfiltered Studios and the home of the Stupid History Minute. We've got some mildly breaking news just happened today, and I wondered if I could break the news on the Two Penny podcast.
You sure can. Hold on 1 second, please. This just in.
That was the groundbreaking.
Are you ready for this one? And this is only for the YouTube people because this is going to really suck in audio.
All right.
It's really going to suck in audio, but I don't know if you heard over at the Stupid History Minute, we like ourselves. Number one, if you listen to content, not like intro to outro, it is a minute, Mike. Okay. So
I know. I read a script. He would know if you would have included him.
Yeah,
right.
I've
yeah.
never seen one personally, so I wouldn't know.
Well, what we have here is, I don't know if you've heard, but we're putting out a book over here, and if you've ever had the chance to put together a book, I'm going to say pass, but we started it and we finish things that we start over here. So part of the process here is submitting a manuscript and all that and going through it about 50 times. And what they do is they mail you something. And today in the mail, we got the Stupid History book proof.
Look at that. And I love the cover art.
And it is with full cover, barcode, and about 200 pages of what I get to go through now to make sure that it doesn't sound fucked up.
Is that Green Bay Packer colors for St. Joe?
No, it has nothing to do with St. Joe. No, it has nothing to do. And it does, Mike, have your volume 1 on it.
Yes.
There you go. I don't know if you can see it.
So we look forward to
volume 1.
Many more books.
And then it even has a spine. Like this thing looks like the freaking Catcher in the Rye.
I think you need to prepare now. And you know how Playboys used to have the spines that would make a picture?
Yeah.
I think you need to think about that and have it be like a centerfold of you when
Each
it's all
one
done.
has
like this one can just be the toes.
and you can put
Right.
H on one, I on the other, and there could be like a series that spells out history.
Right.
And a picture of the Keb.
Yeah.
Naked.
Yeah. There are no pictures of the Kev in this book.
Are there any pictures?
There are 0 pictures.
I might not be able to read it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can dig that.
There is a big fat Easter egg in there, and I can't wait to release it and see who picks up on it. because if you don't listen to the show, you're not going to get it. I mean, and I've
Is it
said many times that this whole fucking thing's a joke anyway.
the history
But
of Easter eggs?
no, that's not it. But that's a
Oh.
fucking good idea. Too bad I've already submitted the manuscript. But it even has a page in there that says, "Hello and welcome to the Stupid History Book. I'm your author, Kev Pound." So
I dig it.
it's pretty cool. Anyhow, I'm gonna go back to watching you guys. I just wanted to see if you want to break that news.
I absolutely love it. I love the book. I can't wait to get mine because I answered the question on YouTube.
Absolutely.
So I get a copy already, and I'm going to buy a copy anyway. And matter of fact, it releases in perfect timing for the holiday. There's that noise, by the way, that was all over the show last week.
Oh, you noticed that too?
Jesus,
I might have done that.
I've never heard that.
I don't know what you're fucking talking about.
There's a lot of heavy breathing on this episode.
I was fucking with Scott, and I'm like, and then Jay played like perfectly into it, and Scott's like, because everybody's always got a fucking opinion, right? And they'll bring nothing like, "Hey, good show." Hey, they just bring it, "Who the fuck is breathing?" And so I was like, "I promise you, it's not me." I've been doing it for weeks, knowing full fucking well it's me.
Yeah, it was good, but I do like the fact that the book comes out in time for Christmas, and
Yes.
it's going to be. Do you know what the price point is yet? Does it? I mean, if you don't want to tell everybody, it doesn't matter. But do you have a price point?
I do. It's going to be released on 4 different. I don't know if you call them platforms or versions or whatever. This is the paperback. The hardback takes a little longer to print, but it's on its way. The proof of it to me. It's going to be released in Kindle, and on Audible.
So you'll be able to hear it if you can't.
Correct. Like if you want to listen to it in the car, it's just a long fucking podcast.
Are you narrating it?
Yeah, but I haven't even started that yet. That'll probably be like more towards Christmas. I haven't even started that. I think when I got this, naturally, I've gone through the manuscript about, I don't know, 20 times. And I need to see it in this, and I get the proof, and I get a highlighter out and just see, what you miss and what you miss and what you miss. Luckily, we've got some people over here that are, teachers, so they can go through it. But at some point, I'm just going to have to hit, go, And so anyhow, on Saturday, I guess, we officially did the release date of 10/1, for the thought is for the holiday season and all that good stuff. And we'll see that I think I sent Jay the covers, and I sent them to like 20 people, and I had a poll going, and it was dead even. So I think the paperback and the hardback are going to be this cover, and the Kindle is going to be the other one because it just fits the Kindle better.
And maybe I wasn't paying attention, but did you have a price point?
It's going to be on Kindle. It's going to be $4.99.
Okay.
It's going to be $9.99 in paperback and $24.99 in hardback.
People, here come the presents. Are you going to be able to can we put a link on it to Amazon? Will you be able to do that?
Yes. It'll be run now. If you want an author signed copy, the pre-orders are already at unfpod.com.
All right, cool.
Those are already, you can reserve your copy now. And we've actually gotten a couple of reserves.
I have an idea for your signings when you sign them.
Okay.
And each person gets their own the stupid history minute of their name, or maybe the town they live in, or whatever. Or maybe the stupid history minute of now. I'm writing this to you and I don't care. I'm smoking my vape, whatever.
Right. Sure.
Anyway, I think it'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But anyway, again, congratulations. I think it's awesome. And I can't wait to, we'll promote the shit out of it like we have been every week. We're very dutiful in our, reminding everyone of who we follow, who we associate with, and who we enjoy. So we'll keep pushing that, baby.
Cool. Well, you guys have a good show. Thanks for letting me interject here. And,
I keep forgetting that I have an open studio. So actually, anybody in the world could do this.
So like what I did was I went back to my I was just watching and you guys brought it up and I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I still have that oh, there it is.
The
Okay.
link
Because
is the
I
same.
still have the YouTube YouTube tab up here where I would just go switch over,
Yeah.
There you
which
go.
is probably why I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, it could be. So
Yeah. So
anyway,
well,
well, you and the soon to be world famous wife have a good evening.
we'll do. You guys have fun.
All right, brother. See you.
Later, dude.
I wanted to save that picture. I'm going to go back and get that picture. That was awesome. Well, that's good. People can just jump in anytime they want to. I actually encourage it. I'm
Sure.
hoping St. Joe or the Beebs or somebody else jumps in here.
I don't think St. Joe has it. Has he been? He hasn't been on here, right?
Maybe not on this, but I think he's been in this studio before.
Oh, okay.
I've had this studio for
Ever.
yeah, pretty much. I also wanted to talk. We're going to get into the musical ministry and the two penny tips.
The tip.
But actually, I will. I'll go ahead and ask the tip because it kind of goes about it. So the two penny tips brought to you by our
just the tip.
Just the tip. Brought to you by Beebs and the Finding Your Way podcast.
When
Each
you're
and every
having
Thursday.
trouble getting permission, try to do just the tip.
That was not good, Mike. By the way, I also wanted to touch on your outfit.
Yeah.
And the pictures that we saw. No, the shirt was whatever. I know your shirt's always going to be super tight. I mean, you can't help it. I don't know if it's just, and that's okay. Some people like it. I like a looser fitting shirt. You obviously like a little tighter. Nothing wrong with that. You're trying to show off muscles. I get it. But the pants and boots, your pants were so tight. They looked like spandex.
Well, after
And they were
looking,
short. And those boots, what the fuck were? Come on, Mike. Are you a
We're-
Renaissance man?
we were running all over the place, and so after looking at that, I'm thinking that they were probably hiking up from me walking around all over.
They're
And then it
that
was like-
tight.
And then it was like picture time.
If they were normal sized and fitting pants, they would fall themselves.
Mm,
Yes.
the problem is my thighs are too big.
Oh, so it's your thighs are the problem.
Yeah.
So they don't make pants big enough to fit your thighs.
Not that I would like the rest of the fit on.
Oh,
Because what I
Alright.
like with my stature, my issue is that like they just don't make a lot of pant sizes that are good for my height and stature.
okay. I mean, because everybody knows you're 5'4",
5'6".
5'6", same thing.
Yeah.
And but you're a handsome man, and you can't help it.
So either things are too long or too wide or stuff like that. So
Yeah. So one of the two penny tips
mhm.
that we're going to ask, we'll do one this time because they're kind of going thin, kind of like your hair.
Like people aren't engaging.
Yeah, people aren't engaging with us. Not as much, I guess. I didn't check the thing this week, so
Oh
don't
well,
know.
that doesn't help either.
no, it doesn't. But one of them was, how do you deal? I guess I should say who it's from first. Hold on. Oh. User 516. It's just a bunch of fucking numbers in one letter. So anyway, it's not I don't know if it's a real person or if it's a fucking anonymous or whatever. But anyway,
Mhm.
how do you deal with compliments even when they're not flattering? And I was wanting to ask, I was like, this is a good question for you because I'm constantly giving you shit about, your clothes or your hair or your looks or whatever, even though everybody knows I love you to death. But that's what people do. We tease each other. So anyway,
Sure.
let's say you're out in public and somebody you don't know or whatever kind of gave you and it happens in the South a lot. You get these little backwards comments and compliments that might not really be compliments, like, oh, bless your heart, which is really just a nice way in the South of saying, no, go fuck yourself.
You're an idiot.
You're a dumbass. Go, bless your heart.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know if you experience this. Like, I feel like as a guy, like, I don't think we tend to get a lot of compliments,
No, I don't.
and so, you
Well,
know,
not a ton. I mean, I get
yeah,
them from
sometimes,
sweet buns.
sure. Um, but when I get compliments, it's like, I don't think a whole lot of it. Like, I appreciate somebody pointing something out, I suppose. Genuine or not, I don't feel like I'd get a lot of backhanded compliments that I'm aware of. Maybe I'm just too dull uh to figure it out. But um it also makes me feel weird if somebody is like over complimentary.
Oh yeah, it's like, what do you want?
Yeah, well, not even that. It just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why, but
Okay. How do
so
you feel like when you're playing, like when you have gone and played shows? I know you used to do a lot more open mics, or you go and play music and sing.
yeah,
Um, how would you deal with compliments then? Because inevitably, let's say you take a break or you're done with your set, and you're going to the bar, you're sitting down with, your lady, or you're doing whatever. And how would I mean, how would you deal with compliments like that? Because people were going to come and be like, "Oh man, you're so great. Do you have a CD? Do you?" I mean,
sure, yeah, yeah, that's true. Even then, I especially before like getting a professional life, like being
mhm.
successful at things. Um, I'm a I'm a pretty introverted guy where I'm not really looking to branch out and talk to a bunch of random people. And oftentimes, if I don't know somebody or if I don't know something about somebody or I don't know somebody personally, my brain's not going, you know, hey, I need to ask this person a bunch of questions and get to know them or,
Mhm.
find out things about them. It's like I'm pretty quiet. And so I kind of, I just say, thanks, I appreciate it. And then kind of go on about my business. And uh, that's pretty much that. Like,
So what
yeah, I don't try to do a whole lot with engaging with strangers.
what about like let's say we're sitting here, not right now because we would tell each other, but let's say in public,
Hmm.
if you see somebody you don't know, okay, let's say you don't know this person, it's a dude. You guys are all standing there waiting in line to get some food or something. Let's say his zipper's just wide open. Do you? I'm not saying any junk is falling out, but do
Right.
you go like, "Hey man, your zipper's open now"? Because that's the, in my opinion, that's the kind or the nice thing to do. But maybe you don't do it because you're like, this guy's gonna think I'm staring at his crotch. Or do you
Um,
just do it anyway? But yeah, hey, your zipper's open, brother. Because I do it on this. Like if I'm at work or anything and I see anything, I mean, I tell people. But then again, it's a workplace. I don't know if I would go to a girl like, let's say, if I saw a lady and her blouse was like busted open on the titty part or something, or it was missing a button. I don't know if I would say anything to a woman just because I'm so today's culture. I'm so worried about being like you get nailed for like sexual misconduct or whatever they might call it.
well, I don't hanging out with you. You're pretty dang open and saying random stuff to people. So I don't believe that you would be concerned in the
Oh, I
moment.
would be. I would be. It's not a, yeah, no. And I'm not friendly like that with people that I work with out here, like I was back in where we worked at, where we were all somewhat friendly and we would joke and give each other shit all day. It doesn't happen here much. Um, it just doesn't. But anyway, and your internet's going to poop again.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But no, I probably just wouldn't say.
Um, what about? I sent you a
Oh
picture of a
no.
guy I was
Can you
golfing
hear
with.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can tell your internet's going to shit though, because you're starting to freeze. Um, which would be great for me. Thank goodness.
I'll get off you.
Anyway, I sent you a picture this week when I was golfing. This guy who I would call him an acquaintance had the most swamp ass I've ever seen in my life. I mean, his shorts from the top all the way down were just soaked. And I was like, God dang, I wonder if he even knows. I mean, because I can't imagine how this. Ugh. Oh God, it's disturbing. But yeah, your internet's totally frozen. So, oh, and there he goes. All right, that's great. So it's just me. Here I am in all my glory. Enjoy it, bask in it. Um, what I mean, I could read some more Bible verses for you. Just kidding. I don't have any more Bible verses. But I will say this. I I was really like I noticed this the sweat on this dude, and I was like, God, I had to take some pictures and send it to people. I don't know if that makes me a jerk or if I just find the humor and stuff. I mean, I didn't make fun of him to himself, and he's probably not going to listen to this podcast, but I had to say something. And so I sent it to a few friends, and everybody was like, "Oh, gross," or "Oh, disgusting." And all I could think about was, could you imagine how much powder that guy might have to use to soak up all that? Oh, nasty. So you're back. And by the way,
That-
thanks. I cannot wait to
How
edit
about
this
that?
podcast. Hence the other reason we do it on Monday nights, so I can have 3 days to fucking fix it. So that was a 2 penny tips. But before we get into the musical ministry, this was brought on by Taylor Swift's Eras concert, which if you open TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or anything, it is constantly people either posting pictures of going to the concert, wanting to go to the concert, being at the concert, or the set list from the shows or whatever. And her show is destined to be, her tour is destined to be the biggest tour in the history of the world. But another shout out for our boy St. Joe. I want to do a little quick list with you. What do you think the top 5 grossing concerts, the tours, have ever been? And I'm not even, I mean, I'll see if you can even name one artist in the top 5.
Let's see.
Did you said the Rolling Stones? God, your internet is so bad. I think you said the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Is that what? Okay, wow. This is not going to work. So I'll just go over them real quick because I can't hear you at all. But you were right. If you said the Rolling Stones, they are number 3 in the top 5 most grossing concert tours ever. But I'll just give down the list. Mr. The Keb writes Garth Brooks. Wrong, believe it or not, which is really weird. I don't know how Garth Brooks doesn't get on this, but number 1 was Ed Sheeran's Divide Tour, which ran from 2017 to 2019, and it grossed over $775 million. That's a lot of moolah. Michael Jackson, nope. Number 2, U2, which I just don't get the hype with U2. I'm not a fan. Never have been. I mean, there's a couple songs that I might be like, oh, that's a good song, but I am not a fan of U2. U2's 360 tour, which ran from 2009 to 2011. So from 2009 to 2011, it holds the records for grossing tour with a rock band, and it exceeded $736 million. Number 3, like we said earlier, the Rolling Stones, A Bigger Bang tour from 2005 to 2007. It's their most successful tour ever, $558 million. Number 4 is Coldplay and their tour, A Head Full of Dreams, which ran from 1 year only, from 16 to 17, generated over $523 million, which is the biggest grossing tour by a British band. Number 5 on the list, AC/DC's Black Ice World Tour, which ran for 2 years from 2008 to 2010, brought in approximately $441 million. But this leads me to the crazy part, which is Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift's concert tour, which is on pace right now, it's on pace to reach $1.3 billion. She's been through 23 dates now of her tour, and the tour has grossed $400 million. And she's scheduled for 50 dates in the United States, and then she's going to take it international, take it abroad. But they're thinking that it could end up being $1.3 billion That's a lot of money. Mike is back. Let's see how it's working. Mike, how's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All
It
right.
seems like you're back at it now. I'm gonna motherfuck you now instead of later because you're fucking it up. Um,
But on a note of that, like, what I can't believe about Taylor Swift is like, you hear about these artists and stuff going on tour and just wearing out, but you mentioned before, like your sister went to the concert and
Yeah.
she performs for 4 hours straight with like no breaks.
Yep.
And she's doing city after city after city. And it's like she's just a freaking robot. She can just keep going and keep singing, and it just seems impossible, but it's pretty dang impressive that she can do that.
It's highly impressive, but Taylor Swift and her as an artist, as a songwriter, as a musician, as a vocal, everything. I wouldn't say her vocals. I wouldn't call her like one of the greatest vocalists ever. She has a very wonderful voice and she sings great and all that. But what I think is crazy is I think she's pinned just about every one of her songs.
Yeah.
And her albums have a theme to them, which I guess a lot of artists probably have a theme to it when they go into the studio, but hers are very themed and very much, like when she did the 1989 tour and the 22 and well, I mean, she's done a lot of cool stuff, and I think she's a great artist. I was listening to some of her music today, along with Hall and Oates and some old school Outcast. So that was my music today.
That's a heck of a mix right there.
It is. But yeah, Taylor Swift, I mean, $1.3 billion.
That's pretty awesome for just a musical tour.
It is. And I'm assuming that what'll happen is they've been doing a lot of filming. There's giant film crews on this. So I can guarantee that once the tour is over, there will be a streaming of the concert and probably a build up and probably some documentary called the Eras Tour with Taylor Swift and about the build up to it and her sitting there with a blanket on and being all moody and going, and, picking the towns and the cities. And anyway, it's a lot of stuff, but good for her. And I know that I'd love to be able to get some tickets from people I know. So hell, I'd even like to go see the show. But I doubt that's going to happen.
Like we said before, like a 4-hour long concert, I don't like. That's got to be pretty dang entertaining to endure the whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things is that pretty much, what's crazy is I don't even. Am I a Swiftie? I don't know. Do I like her music? Most of it. I think a lot of that stems from my daughter. Maybe mainly being one of the first artists that I remember my daughter really being into and knowing the words to the songs. I've played it on here before. I think maybe I have a recording of my daughter in 2009 singing along with her songs on the radio.
Yeah.
And I love it. But 4 hours. I mean, and everybody knows her songs. That's the crazy thing. If I went to a Rolling Stones concert, I might know a lot of their songs, but I don't know if I could sing along with most of them. And probably most of Taylor's songs I could sing along to. But
yeah, to an extent, just because we've heard it through so many different mediums, whether it's commercials or shows or movies or just on the radio, I guess. You could probably do more than me. I wouldn't be as familiar with the music. I don't assume.
And there was a few years where when I was still DJing that I would play some of her music, not a lot of it, but I remember playing Shake It Off and some of the other stuff. But anyway, leads us right into the musical ministry of Mike. What do you have for us this week?
Yeah, so this week I thought I'd just do something nice and boring for you guys. So I did Don't Stop Believing by Journey. No, I'm just kidding.
We wish.
Since nobody's heard it and nobody knows how to look that up themselves.
That's right.
So I did a song called Arrows by a band called Fences. That's a band out of Washington State, and they kind of got they didn't get big, but they had a couple of big moments because they got tied to Macklemore for a couple things, which reminded me of you because I know how much you like some Macklemore. So I picked out a song that is Fences featuring Macklemore, and it's called Arrows.
Nice. Let's check it out. Maybe we'll check it out.
That's not it.
No, that's Wolf's Cry. I don't know why it's not playing.
That was last week.
That's not it. That's Before I Go. I don't know why it's not playing. Let's do this. Let's turn it in a preview. Let's turn it in live. I'll bring it in again. Why not? It's also got Ryan Lewis on
Yeah.
the song too. So
Just escape. My old man, he kicked me out when I told him that I live this way. 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 He doesn't own me. He doesn't own me. He doesn't own me. He doesn't own me. Just escape. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling. The black rims that line your face like a deer drinking water in a picture frame. I swear to God I've seen those eyes, the back of my lids when closing mine. With clasped hands we shake it out, lace the boots and we walk away. I felt slightly connected to him and said, now boy, now you own me. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling. He doesn't sleep, so in truth he never wakes up. Another day rush into his death at a breath on the treadmill of the famous. He makes mistakes, tells stories to his paintbrush, and when the world finally sees his art, he wishes that he never would have made it. Just escape, ricochets and he puts his fate. Living in a city with a grandmother over your shoulders and you're becoming suffocated by the weight. Can't hit those brakes, this is what you wanted, huh? But you got it all in vain, cause you forgot who you are. Right as the world learn your name, it goes. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling. Let me ask my issues. Ashtray is this asphalt. American spirit, black coffee, conversations and a passport. When God gives you everything that you ever asked for, and it still looks a bit different than when you pictured it on that back porch, and I'm gone. World traveler, all I got is my songs. When the nights start blending into one another and I don't recall. Tom Petty and all I wanna do is free fall. Yeah, free fall. And I'm so caught up, I'm caught up, and I'm so tired. Swore that I wouldn't stare into the light, and guess who tried it? I'm blinded by this limelight. It's all night, it's all day. These bright lights, once you turn them on, you can't walk away. Don't die here, I came too far, I'm too great, but I'm too scared, I'm too afraid to stare this world into its face. I'm almost home, I'm driving lost, my eyelids closed like turns to gray. The camera's off, the show is over, you close the curtains and just escape. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling. Arrows land were falling. Arrows were falling.
I don't know. Arrows were falling. Is that what they kept saying over and over again?
Yes, I believe so.
Wow. I mean, Another shitty song to add to the collection.
Just for you.
Fantastic. Just for me. I know that song's a little bit. I think that song's from when I was looking at it on Spotify. I think it's 2017.
2014, I think.
Even older. Good
Yep.
for you. Almost going back 10 years. You're almost getting back to the Journey years for us.
I am familiar with Journey, just in case anybody was wondering.
Probably not. You know, kids these days, they're like, oh, if it's not Little Baby, I don't like it. Which is fine. Whatever. You kids are weird. I like how your name this week is Suck It Good Pods. Yeah, fuck you, Good Pods. I think we were like just outside the top 10 in comedy shows last month.
Well, that makes sense since like there's so many shows on that platform that are so good.
There are. Do you know what I was looking at this earlier. Can you guess? I know you can guess probably one of them. What do you think what's the number one podcast? We're doing all these list and question things. Wow.
Mhm.
What do you think is the number one podcast in the world?
I would guess Joe Rogan Experience.
And you would be right.
Bing,
What's
bing,
funny
bing,
is
bing.
that the podcast that you like and the Theo Vaughn that I like the past weekend, neither one of them were even anywhere near the top 10. But Crime Junkie, which I've never listened to, is number 2, and Call Her Daddy, which I have heard, is number 3.
Amber listens to Crime Junkie. She loves that shit.
Yeah, with Ashley Flowers and Britt Prost.
I guess.
And number 4 is My Favorite Murder. She probably listens to that too.
I don't know if she knows that one.
Number 5 is the Ben Shapiro Show.
Oh, that's kind of
I've never listened
surprising.
to it, but
I've like seen clips of him and shit, but
yeah, I think he's very intelligent.
very intelligent.
Almost annoyingly intelligent.
The kind of Asperger burgers.
Kind of, he's got a little bit of the tism.
Yeah, just a tism of
He's
it.
been touched by that tism.
Very smart.
Yeah, very. So did anything cool or funny happen? I mean, I saw that you caught like one of the biggest fish I've ever seen out of a lake.
Yeah, so that was actually kind of a funny story because so at the house we rented there was a boat we were able to use, which was nice, a big pontoon boat. And so we drove that around to kind of get a bearing for what was going on, and the lake
How
was
much
only like
extra did they charge for that?
$75 a day.
I figured.
Really not that bad though. You know, I'm sure it'd be more expensive if
I
you
didn't
like,
realize there was all these extra charges. Like if you want to use the grill, you want to use the hot tub, you want to use the pool. There's all these extra charges. It's like, go fuck yourself, dude. Put it as all inclusive.
hopefully the grills weren't extra because I cranked those bitches up and cooked some
course.
chicken and steaks.
Of course you did. A chicken and steak.
Yeah, so the lake was surprisingly shallow. It was like 12 to 14 feet for the most part. And so a group of us decided to go fishing, and literally we went right across from where our dock was and then cast out our poles and just kind of trolled through the water next to some weeds.
Alta toll.
And in about 2 minutes, like I felt like I got hung up on a log or something. It was just like my freaking bait was stuck in the water and my pole was bending and I thought it was going to break. So I had to have my dad reverse the boat. And so as he's reversing, like it's still not moving. And so I'm trying to like pull it out. And then it starts going under the boat by the motor. And I was like, Dad, go forward, go forward. And so he starts pulling it back forward. And like I'm just slowly reeling this pole. And finally I feel like one tiny little tug. And I was like, oh shit, I think there's a fish on here.
I think there's a monster.
Yeah, and then I just kept pulling it, and finally we got a glimpse of it, and it was this big, beautiful northern pike, and it was probably like around 12, 13 pounds, something like that. And you can hear in the video that I post on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, like we were not prepared for catching a big ass fish. So we're like, oh shit, we don't have a net. We're like, how do we get this thing in the boat?
Yeah.
And so my dad got down, you know, because they got crazy big gnarly teeth too.
Yeah.
And so my dad got down and he was able to grab it inside the gills, which are, huge. They're probably the size of like, I don't know, a small plate.
Okay.
So he was able to get down in there and get it on the boat. And then it's thrashing like crazy. So my brother-in-law grabs his metal water bottle and just smashes it on the head.
So I guess you kept it.
Yes, we did.
What's up with catch and release? Why do you want to kill the fish?
We ate it, and it was delicious.
That's not nice.
But it was really cool because my brother was on the boat. Amber's brother was on the boat. Her nephew was on the boat, and then Telkin and Paddock were on the boat. So it was, the hard thing about fishing with kids is that it's usually much longer than a 3-minute experience, and so they get bored and disinterested, and so it was really cool for them to be able to see that and get really excited about it. And we headed right back to the dock, and my dad cleaned the fish, and we got it ready to eat. And he didn't want to do any more fishing after that. He was so tired.
Oh, well, it was a big fish. I saw the pictures. And,
Yeah, it was a
very
blast.
cool. I'll post up a picture of Mike's fish on the old Twitter.
Yeah, you can tweet that out.
I'll tweet that out. Put it up. Very cool. Before I forget, always, let's go ahead and do the little shout outs to our friends on our podcast that choose to associate with us because they're nice people.
Yeah.
I got to thank Theo Vaughn for always listening. I wish he would come on as a guest, but he won't.
And Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino, they're good guys too.
Good guys. They tune in weekly. Bobby Mutta.
I'm Bobby Mutta. I'm Bobby Mom.
Yeah. So, but obviously on Mondays you can check out St. Joe and the Nailed It podcast. I get a chance to listen to it each and every Monday. I listen to all these podcasts. On Tuesdays you can check out Mama D's.
Hey, and a quick note too. So I've got to be honest. Like when I started listening to,
I think it's
at the
funny when people
time-
say I got to be honest, because why would you not be?
well, there's a lot of people that aren't.
I know, but why would you not be?
So like when I started listening to Unfiltered, even I think before you were on it, just because I knew Beebs and
Yep.
And checked it out, I had a really hard time finding it. And so
Yes.
we shout out this stuff all the time, but I know St. Joe's having trouble with interaction or whatever. People need to know what they're looking for. If they type in "nailed it," it might bring up a huge list of stuff where it makes it hard to find. So
I guess it
like
could.
with his specifically, I think I'd have to type in like "nailed it St. Joe," and then it'll pop up.
I don't know. Mine are automatic because I subscribe.
Well,
to
now
them
they
or
are. Yeah,
whatever,
now they
but-
are.
So I
But,
don't
like,
remember.
when you first try to find it.
I think the easiest way for people, if they want to find any of the podcasts that we talk about and listen to, just go to unfpod.com.
Yeah, that's true.
They at one point in time had a link to our show on there. I don't know if they do anymore. Obviously, there's no obligation for them to do that. That's totally fine. We're not officially part of the UNF studios or the Unfiltered studios, but obviously we associate with all of them. We had Mr. The Kev that popped in earlier, but so yeah, we got Mama D and Pedals of Sport on Tuesdays. We have Wednesday with the boys, the Beeb and Mr. The Kev on Refiltered. Thursdays, you can check out the Beebs and finding
And
Your
just
Way.
his tip.
You can find his whole tip, his whole thing. And they have the Hypno Wellness and then each and every Friday you can always find us. And don't forget the Stupid History Minute and the soon to be Stupid History book, Volume 1, is going to be coming out. And anybody that knows me, there's your Christmas gift. You are getting a copy.
Because we get a discount. Just kidding.
We do. We get it for $3.98 and
On Kindle.
on Kindle. I don't even have a Kindle.
I don't either.
I think you can. I wonder if Kindle has an app on like other platforms, like on the iPhone, because I don't have a Kindle.
My family makes fun of me like relentlessly because throughout elementary school and middle school, I did about 5 book reports on the book Hatchet by Gary Paulson, just because
love
I've
that
never
book.
liked reading very much.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Now you don't even have to. Oh, excuse me. You don't even have to do You don't even have to read anything. Oh, I got to do a book report. Just go on to Chat GPT or whatever
Hello,
it is
robot.
and write me a book report. Write me 5,000 words on The Hatchet.
Yeah. That book might have been 5,000 words.
Probably why you were actually able to read it.
Yeah, with big print.
Big print and lots of illustrations. I think Kev needs to do an illustrated book. You know, it'd be cool if Kev fed that book into the like one of those little like it does a little cartoon like video, like the little stick figures reading it or acting out the illustration of it.
Sure.
Might be a lot of money to do that, so he probably won't. Unless he makes a ton of money, and I hope he does. I hope I hope it's a bestseller. I really
It'll be
do.
his best-selling book for sure.
Until he does the next one. I don't know. Maybe Keb's wrote another book.
That's true. He does seem to have a lot of hobbies.
He is a hobby connoisseur.
Hobasur.
He's a habanero. All my friends over there.
That's you and that pod. That
Mr.
sounded
the
kind of more
Cab.
Russian.
Yeah, you did. Which is fine.
My friend.
My friend. Anyway, so I'm glad you're back. Your internet sucks. I fucking hate it, and your songs suck even worse.
Good.
But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're back.
I'm so glad I'm here too.
And you know, I'm glad that your wife loves this podcast now. I have a feeling that unfortunately, because after we did the one with the kids, she's probably checked out sparingly, maybe tuned in a little bit, not listening to full episodes, but maybe just to hear a little bit, and she's highly disgusted.
She's very disappointed in me, but that's nothing new.
She
so.
hates that you're associating with me on this podcast.
She doesn't care.
She hates it. Oh, deep down she hates it. Anyway, regardless, I still love her, and that's all that matters. She's my favorite. She's my favorite Mrs. Thiz. Out of all the different renditions you've had, she's my favorite version.
Yeah, that you've known so well.
That's right. Anyway, so yeah, I guess we can wrap it up. You got anything else you want to touch on, or anybody else you want to send a shout out to or kisses to?
No, I think we're all good.
2 penny smooches coming up next week. Love you so much. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, so check us out each and every Friday. Make sure you tune in on Monday nights like this. Oh, wait, hold on. Mr. The Kev writes on our YouTube. The link is still there, which is for our show. So we appreciate that because they don't have to include us, but they're kind enough to do it, and we do appreciate it. If you just type in Nailed It, you might find a very different podcast. I mean, you could take that different ways. It could be a nasty adult porn show, or it could be a construction show.
Well, like seriously, like with Unfiltered, there was I think 100 podcasts.
There were
named
so many.
Unfiltered.
I'm glad it's called Refiltered now. I think it kind of distances and puts them in their own lane. The Unfiltered, I didn't realize there were so many until I was searching for that show.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm glad that they got the Refiltered now.
We're gonna change ours to Regurgitated.
Yeah, we should. I'll definitely regurgitate it because that way I'm sure St. Joe would like that. Whale dicks. And fat burgers. Fat burgers. Not fat burgers, but fat burgers. I need to revisit that.
Is there a follow-up episode?
I hope so. Maybe next week we'll talk about some fat burgers. Yeah. So anyway, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you tune in and check us out each and every Monday night. We go live on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is called The 2 Penny Podcast. It's pretty simple. Do us a favor. It's free of charge. Go over there. If you don't have an account, sign up for an account. It's free to have a YouTube account. You don't have to buy YouTube TV or anything. They might offer it to you, but you don't have to do it. But you can create an account and
They do a Sunday ticket this year.
Yeah, they do. And you can hit the subscribe button to our podcast, and we'd appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to donate to us, send us money, but if you want to, you can. I don't know where it will go because I don't have anything set up to take in monetary donations.
Yeah,
But,
if somebody named the Two Pennies messaging you asking for money, it's not us
Yeah, it's not
Yet.
us. No,
yet.
There is no. We don't even have a what's it called? What's that Nefarious has? They're pay for it.
Yeah.
What's it called? I don't even
We-
remember.
Yeah, you pay for episodes.
Yeah. Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah, we don't have a Patreon because guess what? All our shit is free because we're just giving it to you
Forever.
forever. I will tell you this: I will never charge for an episode of the show. Ever. I might allow some sponsorships to come in, and Mike might get Kia to sign up as a sponsor.
I don't think Key America is listening to this shit.
I hope not. Although they should, because they got some badass fucking cars right now.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
talk about that next week. There's some cars I was looked at that I saw some used ones. I was like, God dang, that's a sick car. I had one pass me at 180 miles an hour. The other one. Anyway, so yeah, do us a favor, check us out each and every Friday. The audio releases, and I promise you it will be the right one this week, even though I have to edit it for 4.5 hours, thanks to Mike's internet. We appreciate it. Yeah, check us out. We do love you. And like I always say, if nobody else wants to fuck you, because they don't, go fuck yourself. And for Mike, for me, for Sweet Buns, I'm Jay Jones. It's the Two Penny Podcast, and we'll check you next time. All right. Bye.
Arrivederci, fuckers.